So once again, many thanks for accepting the invitation. Now I'm going to make a little introduction in Portuguese, okay? Just to tell the people who you are. Bem-vindos a mais Cranking Podcast. Estamos hoje com Juliet Elliott, uma conhecida ciclista, youtuber, influencer também das bicicletas inglesa. Hello, Juliet.
Hello.
Hi. So here in Cranking Podcast, we always start with a question. Do you remember where or what you were doing on the 15 June 2018?
No idea. What?
Okay, so I think that you were in Barcelona riding Redu Barcelona in that day.
In June? No,
No?
it's never in June. Not in Barcelona. No way, man.
No?
No, it's always at the end of August.
I don't know why they put it on the website that it was June, that it was in June. So, okay. My bad. So we start bad. Okay. I was looking your participations on the Reduk, and I used to live in Barcelona, so I was searching the Barcelona dates for that venue, and wow. So cool. my bad.
That's all right.
Do you miss those times of Reduk and riding fixed bikes?
Yeah, I really miss it. It was so much fun. Particularly after a year of lockdown and no travel, I just miss it's the people that I miss. I mean, I miss the thrill of the race. It was always a real thrill and that, but it was mainly about the community, and I miss all those people. So. Okay,
yeah, I can imagine here in Portugal we are locked down again. We have everything closed, so we only can ride alone. So it's very strange times for all of us right now.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, we're a bit better off in the UK. We're allowed to ride with one other person at the moment. Yeah. And then in like a week or 10 days, I think we can start riding in groups of 6. So, wow.
Thrill for that, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Julia, tell us one thing, or let me ask you, from modeling, professional snowboarding, and then into bikes.
Yeah.
What a journey, no?
Yeah, it's been fun so far. So
you miss those times?
Not really. I can't say I missed the modeling. I mean, it had some great high points. Like, I remember a pretty cool shoot where we went to Mexico, to Tulum, before like everyone had heard of it, and all like they didn't do any hair or makeup. We got up in the morning and they were like, okay, so just go in the sea. That's the kind of the look that we want for your hair, and then we'll shoot a few photos. So it was like the easiest job ever. And then they were like, there's a tab at the beach bar, just go and relax whilst we shoot the other model. And I'm like, this is awesome. But it wasn't always like that. And I never really fell in love with modeling, put it that way. When I was living in a house full of models in New York, I felt really isolated and not part of that community, because all the models were going out to fancy parties and hanging out with men who wanted to hang out with models. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just stayed in the whole time, and I walked a lot around Manhattan, and that was really cool. And so, you know what I mean? Like, the travel had benefits, but I never really slotted into the whole modeling lifestyle. Okay. Snowboarding. Now that was fun. You
were pro, no? For Burton team? Okay.
Yeah. So I was pro, and I rode for the Burton team. I was on the European team. And well, that was just a lot of fun. Like, looking back on it now, I don't think I ever fully appreciated how cool it was.
Yeah.
I was really young, and I just fell into it. And now that I'm older, I know actually what a battle it can be to get into that industry and to get sponsored. And I just was really fortunate that I suppose maybe I got into it at the right time and I met the right people. I mean, yeah, I was good at snowboarding, obviously. I don't know, like, looking back, I just think, wow, how incredibly fortunate I was to do that.
So, I can understand, because I'm gonna tell you, when I saw your name for the first time, I think it was in 2012. You make something for we can tell the brand Beefeater.
Oh yeah.
So I started riding fixed in that time, and I remember saw your name and then saw that images, and that's the first time that that Juliet Elliott came to my head, and then I started following your journey, you know. And now when I was made research for this, I don't know that you have been modeling and made Italy Vogue covers, and I know about the snowboarding thing, and it's pretty awesome. In fact, that journey that you have in different sports before you arriving here, even your journey before you arriving to the what you are meeting now, gravel, bike packing. You have made a little bit of everything. No, mountain bike, racing, racing road.
Yeah, I mean, I just like riding bikes. So, you know, I think I'm naturally curious about stuff, you know, and I want to explore all the different aspects of cycling, try that. Do I like it? Maybe not. You know, I never really liked cyclocross, but I'm glad I tried it. And, you know, I suppose I follow my heart with it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it's never really been calculated. I've just naturally gravitated towards the things I'm enjoying more at any point in time. Like, you know, some years there's a really cool race scene. There's Red Hook crits. So I throw myself into fixed gear crits. And then, you know, that disappeared, didn't it? Like, because Red Hook, they stopped putting the races on. So I had to find something else. So I naturally gravitated towards something else, which was gravel. So it's just been a kind of, natural exploration, a journey, I suppose, for me.
Yeah, I think the people here in Portugal who don't know, if they, I'm gonna tell in Portuguese, vão ao blog da Juliet, Bikes and Stuff, tem excelente material, também tem o canal do YouTube dela e o Instagram, podem seguir e podem procurar as diferentes coisas que ela faz. Sorry, it's a little bit Portuguese, just to the people. Juliet, in 2013, you wrote an article where you talked about the need to match the prices in women's cycling. We are in 2021, and we are talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you think that you have made some changes since then, or we are in the same level, so the men's very high and the women very low? I can say.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it's still a big problem, isn't it? We all know that. But I do think things have started to change. I do see positive change within the cycling industry. You know, this year obviously there's the women's Paris-Roubaix, which is great. However, you know, there's still the terrible issue of women's prize money. You know, I wrote something recently on, I don't know, Twitter. I can't remember where I wrote something, but basically there was a crowdfunding initiative where people donated money.
Strade Bianchi, yeah.
Exactly, because the women's prize pot was so poor compared to the men's. So a lot of people invested their own time and money, their money and then their time promoting this initiative to try and get the women more money. And I wrote something about that, tweeted a link to it, and God, some of the comments I got back from men, were so narrow-minded and sort of really missing the big picture. You know, it's like a vicious cycle with women's cycling. You know, one of the responses was that of course they shouldn't get as much money because they don't get as much exposure.
That's a usual question that some people put on this problem. I don't understand it.
Well, I think it's missing the root cause, because of course they don't get as much exposure because they don't have the opportunity to have that exposure.
That's true.
Like, if it's not being televised, how can anyone watch it? If the sponsors aren't being shown on primetime TV, why are they going to want to invest in the women's team? Like, you know, there's so much to it. So I do feel disappointed that like the problem hasn't been solved, but I do also feel that changes are being made, and you've got to see the positives, and that's a good one. But I slightly lost my train of thought there.
It was about your art, no problem. No, because there's a lot to talk about this. It's because you have wrote the article in 2013, and right now, 2021, we are in the same with the same problems, but it's not even with only women. I think cycling, I don't know if it's your opinion, it's not a very inclusive sport. So you
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's something that I think people have really stepped up and noticed, though, more in the last year. And I would say that you've kind of got two different distinct camps of cycling. You've got the really progressive kind of people who I would hope, I'm one of those people. And
yes,
it's the people
you are.
who are into red hook and gravel, and they're into the kind of newer, more modern side of cycling. I feel like those people are far more open-minded and welcoming, and those people, we are trying to be more inclusive. Only the other day I picked up a new magazine, Dropped, and it was really, really obvious to me how diverse it was, intentionally so. They had just really made an effort to ensure it was diverse, and I feel like this section of cycling, we are more open-minded and more conscious of the fact, not more open-minded, I think we're more conscious of the fact that we need to make an effort to be more diverse. It's not something that's going to happen naturally. You have to do this intentionally. So I think there's a big group of people who are aware of that. But on the flip side, you've got traditional cycling, which is just such a whitewash, and it's just all older middle class men with one mindset, and they are so resistant to change or to hearing what anyone else has got to say. So it's like a battle between these two
worlds. Yeah, and even when we see the international thing, I think we can compare the European thing, and then I saw the Americans, and they are since a few years ago working on that kind of inclusivity. And here I don't see it a lot. I talk in Portugal, I don't see it. In Spain, I don't see it. I don't know if in UK the things are changed a little bit or not in this way.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say we've made enormous steps, but certainly you can see more representation, and particularly with some of the brands that I'm aware of or that my friends ride for and stuff like that. So to me, that is noticeable. I don't know whether that's noticeable to the cycling world at large. Maybe these are just small ripples that need to grow, but I have noticed it. So I'd say that's progress.
That's cool. That's cool. You think that it's a part, so UCI must be part of this, because UCI, I think doesn't care about this kind of talk about inclusivity, about the women's problem in cycling. Probably I'm talking shit, but they are in Switzerland and they only see races and white races.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I was saying about how there's these two different distinct
worlds,
camps, and I'm afraid the UCI is part of that. I know they recently created a video that my friend was a part of for International Women's Day, and I felt pretty conflicted about that. I was like, I don't know. I kind of felt like they were jumping on the back of International Women's Day and trying to say that they're doing all this stuff, but it felt like a bit of a hollow gesture. Back that up with some action, guys. But anyway.
I thought the same, but even because they don't talk about the prize monies in the races, and when in the 8th of March they put the video and they said, okay, so we are here and we want to make something about this.
Exactly. And,
I don't like that kind of communication,
Yeah, I wasn't into it either. I mean, yeah, and then they made a big point in that promotion that these things take time and blah blah blah. Well, actually, they take as long as you want them to take, because you are in control here. So, yeah, I don't know.
but it's a very big discussion that I think that we must have in the cycling industry, and that's one of the reasons that I like the gravel, because we can ride all together, and there's a race, because always that we are on a bike, we are racing, even if it's with you, but in the gravel scene, I don't see that kind of I don't know how can I explain of difference, because we are all riding the same thing. I remember when I used to ride on downhill here in Portugal, and it was a big difference from the boys and the women's. And in the gravel race, that's one of the greatest things that we have. What do you think about the gravel scene, international or right now, or here in Europe? Because gravel, it's the new thing in cycling.
Well, it does seem to be. I mean, obviously I'm fairly new to all this, but then I think most people are, because it seems like a fairly new kind of sport. I mean, people have been riding gravel bikes of some kind for ages, but like, you know, the race scene is fairly new, and certainly people's interest in it is relatively new. So I don't know yet, because I haven't done enough of it, but what I like about it is its similarity, I suppose, to the Red Hook crit in terms of the community. You know, when we're racing, like you said, you want to win or do as well as you can.
Yeah.
And when you're not racing, you want to hang out with your friends and have a really good time. And it's more about, say, having a beer after the race than, you know, being
big in the podium.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
In the race, but that's just part of the whole thing. So I like that. And as I mentioned earlier, I feel like the people who are into it are more like my kind of people, you know, who have similar values to me and care about the things I care about. I mean, I'm generalizing here, but
I understand. And the people that are listening, yes, I think they're going to understand as well.
Yeah. Cool.
Tell me one thing, bikepacking.
Yeah.
You are... I think you are trying to make, or you're going to make, the Transpyreneos this year. That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about that. I'm thinking about make something similar here in Portugal. It's called Portugal Divide.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's 113 kilometers. I want to do it by myself alone.
Brilliant.
Sleeping on a tent. We'll see if it happens or not. So tell us more about bikepacking, and I'm going to ask you one thing more, because bikepacking and ultra distance races with bikepacking, it's a world where you see only a few women racing. I've talked about this in one of the episodes of the Cranking, and everybody tell me that, but why there's no women racing that?
I wouldn't say there are no women. I'd say there are fewer women. Certainly there are fewer women. And interestingly, women actually can do very well at these events. For whatever reason, it does seem that women can kind of come into their own in endurance events and start to match, equal, or, you know, better men. So that's an interesting fact. But I'd say possibly the reason there are fewer would just be because you have to think of things in a different way when you're a woman. You know, like I've read books and quotes from women who do these sort of events, which I felt were slightly dismissive of the regular woman's concern about these things. You know, you have some women who say, people are always asking me, aren't I scared? Well, no, I'm not scared doing this any more than I would be scared walking down a London street at night, you know. And I think, well, that's a bit dismissive of how a lot of other women feel. Don't sort of deny our fear here. Being a woman out alone on an ultra distance race, you do have to consider things differently to if you're a man. You know, so possibly that's a factor. I don't know if I'd be interested to see what people think about my perspective on that, because, yeah, I do feel people try and brush this under the carpet. But anyway, I've got off on a tangent there. I am hoping to do Transpyreneos, and I was just reading through the race manual yesterday, and gosh, it's intimidating. This will be the first proper big ultra race that I've done. I've done stage races and things like that, but this one, oh gosh, it's going to be a big.
I've read a little bit about that, because I think it made Badlands this year, but unfortunately I couldn't make it to think about it because of my work. So I read a little bit about that, and it's very scary.
Yeah. Okay. See, I'm like, am I allowed to say I'm scared? I am.
Yes, you are allowed. It's a big race. You are alone by yourself with your bike, with your GPS. So yeah, we must be afraid when we are making a route like that.
Yeah, I mean, I intend to do a phenomenal amount of planning. I'm going to have a backup plan to my backup plan, and I'm going to have so much information that I can use, but still, it's like a step into the unknown, really, isn't it? I mean, that's why I want to do it.
That's it. Yeah, that's the reason. When the people ask you why you want to do a thing like that, I don't know. I think it's because of the thrill, and because I'm scared, and I want to pass my mental note that I can break it.
Exactly. I mean, I think events like that, they leave an indelible impression on you. You never forget it. We go through 365 days a year, and a lot of them fade into other days. Things like that, they are like so hugely important. When I think back over the last 5 years, I think of Glacier 360, which is like a 3-day mountain bike stage race I did. That is so imprinted in my mind. And basically all the stuff that was really incredibly hard, really a big struggle, but had moments of joy and really cool stuff as well. Those are the events that are so fresh in my head. I've got a terrible memory. I can never remember where my keys are, but I can remember all of those events like they were yesterday. So that's the kind of thing I like.
Okay, what you make for planning that? Because when I'm making something with bike packing, I prepare my bike, like this bike that it's here, with all the things, like 1 month before. All days I put it on the bags. I don't know. I try to make all the procedures all days. How you deal with that? You make that kind of ritual to or not?
Well, like I really enjoy planning and researching stuff. To me, that's part of the thrill. So I do like sort of getting my equipment. I've already started writing an equipment list. The race isn't until the end of September. And I'm already deciding what clothes I want to pack and what's going in what bag. So yeah, I do all that. And then in terms of the route, well, I intend to use a few different platforms because I think they all have their advantages and that their disadvantages. So I'm probably going to use Komoot, which I know is the official sponsor of the event, and there's definitely some benefits to using that. But I will probably also go on to Ride with GPS and find my route on there. And then obviously I'll be walking around on Google Maps, Google Earth and stuff as well. So I can double check that I'm not sending myself up some stupid path. But I mean, actually for Trans-Pyrenees, there's a really long parcours on the way back. So you have to ride that route exactly the way it's been planned. So that takes out a big chunk of planning for me, actually.
Okay. Tell me one thing. How you live this COVID thing, this pandemic thing, without events at home? We saw your videos riding with your daughter. That just want to say that I love seeing her riding on the skate park.
Thanks.
Yeah. In the other week, I was showing the videos to a friend of mine. You must put your daughter make the same thing. Okay.
Cool.
Do you think that they're going to be a cyclist?
Well, I mean, it's obviously we would like that because it's just fun being able to do this together. And gosh, she gets such a thrill out of it. So yeah, I hope she'll carry on loving it. But you never know with children, do you? I just make sure that I always make it her choice. Whenever we go at the skate park, I've said, "Hey, what do you want to do today?" And she's like, "I want to go to the skate park." So I just think things like that are going to help her keep her interest rather than making her do it too much.
Okay, so and my first question was, how was to live the 2020 without events or racing? You feel backup with your sponsors? Or you feel the pressure to make content to all the people could see your content?
Well, I feel pressure to make the content anyway, so I just have to do it in a different way. My sponsors expect certain things of me, and even if they don't directly lay that out in terms of we want X number of posts, I feel a responsibility to repay them for supporting me.
I understand.
And I know how to do that. I know how to best do it. I've been doing it for ages. So all I had to do, I had to just change slightly the way I'm making and delivering that content. So it's been a bit harder because I might have to come up with specific ideas for videos.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the other day, me and Dave came up with some silly challenge and we went out and did that. And that's fun, normally in a normal year, I wouldn't have to brainstorm ideas for videos because I'm already doing something, you know. I'm going somewhere, I'm doing some race, or I'm preparing for a race, or I'm talking about my gear that I'm going to take. It all kind of naturally falls into place. And so it's kind of less effort doing it like that because I'm just filming stuff that I'm doing anyway. Like the past year, I've had to say, come up with concepts, and occasionally you're like, oh, I can't just make another video about me going for a bike ride.
Because you are not used to that. There's no racing, there's no events. Yeah, I can imagine that it was difficult times. That's why I was asking. And because your channel in YouTube, you put so many different things. In the other day, a friend of mine just sent me your video when you're trying the tubeless thing.
Oh, cool.
And he said, hey, you must see this. Yeah, I saw it. So
cool.
Just to say that the people enjoy your kind of of entertaining or what you show us. Okay, what you show
good.
us.
I'm pleased to hear that. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, stuff like, you know, like when I did that tubeless video, those are the kind of videos that I quite like making because I'm doing that anyway, you know. And that's what I was saying about in a normal year where I'm racing. You can just make videos as you go along because you need to set up your tires and you need to do this and then you need to do a training ride and you need to try different bike packing bags. So on the whole, it's when I've got those sort of videos to make, it's fun. And when I'm like, because I try and put out 2 videos a week, and some weeks I'm like, right, I do actually have to sit down and try and think of a concept now.
Yeah. It's a pressure. The people sometimes think that it's a job with no pressure. You just have to make videos, but no, you have to work, you have to think about it, and you have to make videos or to produce content that the people like to see and share. No. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a job for sure. Like, it's a cool job.
Yeah,
but it's still a job.
Still a job.
Yeah,
but sometimes I think that the people don't understand that kind of level that you have on your job. So you have been part of a metal band, correct?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's industrial metal stroke noise. So, you know, it depends on your interpretation of metal. That is metal. It's not the kind of metal I really listen to. I ended up playing in a kind of industrial metal and noise band. But yeah, it was good fun.
It was okay. So I'm gonna ask, what's the name of the band? Because here in Poroma, the people ask, "Oh, you're gonna talk with Juliet?" Ask her the name of the band because we want to know.
Oh well, it was called Panic DHH, which is Panic Drives Human Herds, and we had an album out. But you know, it was so long ago that there's not a whole load of videos and social media because it was like when I was right in my early 20s.
Okay.
And you know, we're going back for a while now, not giving too much away. But
sorry.
There's some video. I think there's some pretty bad low quality videos kicking around somewhere on YouTube. And we had an album out. I can't even remember what the label was. Yeah, I've probably got a copy somewhere.
So because we are asking that because you have made so many things before you into cycling that I think that people must know that the journey that you have, what kind of things that you have done before getting here. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite recover when you ride your bike?
Oh,
I'm not asking if you can say the brands or something like that, or wherever you like to do when you finish, or wherever to eat or drink when you finish to ride?
Sure. Well, it kind of depends on how long the ride was, how hard it was, and how much time I've got. So if it was something really hard and I haven't got much time, I'll have a protein shake. So just get that in straight away. Otherwise, it's like a kind of fridge raid of madness where you're kind of inhaling like everything in sight. So I'm like, right, get that protein shake in, and then you like sort of feel a bit better. But I try not to come back from rides in that it's kind of glycogen deprived state where do you know what I mean? I try not to come back from a ride even hungry. If I've eaten properly, then I'm okay. But anyway, I have a protein shake. I try and do a bit of stretching, or at least not just sit down straight away.
Yeah.
If I just sit down, then you kind of seize up. So I try and do a bit of stretching or stay mobile. Always a cup of tea or coffee, obviously. Okay. And then if I'm making some food, I have a few kind of boring fail-safe things that I eat, which are just like grains and beans and avocado and that kind of stuff. So I'll chuck something together like that. Then I've got a few other things that I use, like foam rollers, and I have one of those weird like massage things.
Yes,
you know, like one of those. Yes. So I use that sometimes, but it's really, really loud, and
you don't use it a lot.
No, I don't use it a lot because like normally I have to wait until my daughter's in bed, and then it's too late, and that we live in a terraced house, so the walls are quite thin, and that thing is like super loud, so I don't use it that much. And then the other thing, now this is really good. So I started taking CBD. I'm sponsored by Medterra.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, that has made the biggest difference. Seriously.
Yeah.
Taking that, my recovery is so much better. I have less muscle soreness, for real.
I use CBD sometimes to sleep because of my, I'm going to tell to the whole world, anxiety. But I don't use it to that. But now you told me I'm gonna try it.
Yeah. I find it really good. So definitely, like CBD is not a sort of cure for everything.
But
I get a lot of questions about that, but it helps. And why wouldn't you do something that helps? So
yeah, even worse nowadays, because with everybody locked down and all the things that are not happening in our life, I think the stress and everything, it's worst.
Definitely. Oh, I agree. And I find like it makes me feel calmer and more able to deal with stress. It doesn't like take away your emotions. If I'm sad about something, I'm still going to cry.
Yeah.
But like it makes me less it makes me more able to cope with things and remain calm. And I like that. So, it's good.
It's a good feeling. Yeah. Juliet, there are days that you're going to ride your bike just because you want to ride your bike. I don't know. You wake up in the morning, you have your breakfast, and you say to you, okay, so I'm just going to ride my bike. Don't put my GPS and go ride wherever I want. Yeah. You make it?
Definitely. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Well, I did that at the weekend, but I actually have a coach. I'm coached by this guy, Connor, at Train Sharp. So I am meant to do certain things, but sometimes I just don't. And on Sunday, I was meant to do like a 2-hour ride with a load of really long sweet spot intervals. And I sort of procrastinated a bit, and then I don't know what I was doing, but it got towards the end of the day, and I'm like, I suppose I didn't want to go training because it meant something different to the fact that it was training was putting me off going cycling. And I was thinking about that, and I looked out the window and I'm like, it's a nice day and I like riding my bike. Like, it's not that I don't want to ride my bike, it's that I don't want to train.
You just want to ride your bike and feel free. That the feeling.
Exactly. And I almost didn't go at all because I was like, oh, I don't want to do my training, so I'm just not going to go out. And then I was like, wait a minute, no, that's not right. Just go for a bike ride. So I did that, and then I just put a note on my coaching thing to Connor saying, sorry, I didn't do this, da 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 da. And he asked me what I got up to, and he was like, cool, that's good. Hope you enjoyed it.
That's one of the things. I don't have a coach. I only ride because I like to ride, and that's one of the things that I most enjoy to make in my week. It's go out with my bike without no plans and see what.
Yeah.
Just with a banana, drink some coffee, and that's a big day for me. And I don't want to know if I made 100 or 50 kilometers. I just want to enjoy the ride.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I try and get the balance right because I in order to be competitive, I need to do some training, even just to help with me psychologically. Like I need to feel like I've prepared for things and that I'm in good shape. And otherwise I'm going to turn up and maybe not try as hard because I'll think, well, there's no way I can ride as fast as that woman. Okay. I've not been training. So I need to feel that I've put the work in order to push myself. Otherwise I'll just slack off. But at the same time, also, of course, I just want to have fun. But normally what I do is I will do the main kind of interval sessions on my watt bike, and then all the endurance stuff, I can just go out and ride. And I mean, you don't really have to, that's just riding. So that's fun.
Okay. Do you remember your first bike when you were younger?
Yeah, I had a rally burner, like a little blue and yellow mini BMX type thing, which was a hand-me-down from my brother.
Okay, I have here just now. I have one more question. Just give me just 1 second because I have wrote something. Okay, Portugal. I know that you have talked about with the guys, with my friends in Poroma about coming here in 2019. Unfortunately, the things don't happen. But if it happens, I make an invitation, or if you want to come, we can see something to you to come here in Portugal. Do you know Portugal?
No, not really. I really, really want to go to Portugal.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We must come. We have very beautiful gravel roads, and it's a very beautiful country with very nice food, if you like to eat.
Yes, I do.
And nice beaches, and it's hot. Next plans for this year? Say, so you have the Transpyreneos?
Yeah.
And what big plans you have more?
I think I started writing a list somewhere. I probably can't find it though. Where is it? Yeah, no, can't find that list. But I am hoping to do Grinduro in Wales, and I think that's going to be super, super fun because sorry, I've lost the screen that you're on. Where have you gone? Oh, there you are. Yeah, so I'm hoping to do Grinduro in Wales, and I've done gravel stage races before. You know, like gravel enduro where they just time a segment. I love those. Like that's honestly sorry.
No problem.
Honestly, the gravel enduro format is way more suited to me than the really super ultra distance one because I ride mountain bikes. I've raced downhill and stuff, and also I used to race crits. So combining that really short, sharp, high intensity thing with like bike handling, those are the kind of races that probably suit me. But for some reason I'm going for Trans-Pyrenees, which is like the opposite of
yes,
what I'm good at,
completely.
And then other than that, I'm just trying to plan a few bike packing trips, and I haven't got a full schedule yet because I'm sort of loath to make too many plans, not knowing whether anything is going to happen.
Okay. So I was thinking about Grinduro in Wales as well, but I don't make it because of the pandemic, and I said so I'm not gonna try it this year.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, hopefully see you there next year then.
Yeah, I hope so because I want to make a lot of things, so we'll see.
Yeah.
In all the things that you have made in the biking scene, criterium, gravel, bike packing, downhill, which one is your favorite?
Probably. It's probably like a top 3.
Okay, could be.
So probably one of my favorite things is bike packing with friends. Not racing, just, packing your stuff, your food, your swimsuit, and just going off and camping out with friends, having a beer, drinking some whiskey. That, I love that. That is so
I
good.
like that plan.
Yeah. So some of my best trips have been that, even if it's just one night, even one night of that is so cool. And then the other thing that I love more than anything is riding dirt jumps. So I just love jumps, or like mountain bike parks with loads of big jumps. That's my other favorite thing. And yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm into at the moment. In the past I would have said fixed gear crits, but I don't really ride those anymore. So
yeah, okay. But it was a nice I don't know, the other day I was talking with the friends about the criterium thing and the fixed days, or the fixed back in the days.
Yeah.
Do you think that they have lost that essence, if we could say that?
The fixed gear stuff?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's just never going to be what it was. That's like a piece of history now, isn't it, really?
I think so, yeah. When I start riding in 2011, I leave the thing in my own, but I remember go search the videos, the guys from Macaframa and that kind of stuff. I remember when I make my first skid, and it was like, yeah.
Yeah, it was an amazing moment in time, but I do feel like, it's in the past now.
It's in the past. But you still have a fixed bike, no?
I still have it. I don't ride it much though, because it's not really the right kind of place around here, not the right terrain, and I don't know. Also, I have a daughter. I don't, I ride my fixed gear bike brakeless. Yeah. I know you could say, hey, just put a brake on, but I don't want to. I like riding it like that. And I have a daughter now. I'm a mum, so I can't really just go shredding around on a brakeless fixed gear bike around all the big hills.
I understand that. Yeah. You think that when you have your daughter, that you have start making some kind of things different in your bike life?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I can't travel so much for a start, and I go on little rides with her where I barely do any riding. It's all about her. I mean, when you've got a kid, it becomes all about them, obviously. So yeah, things have changed a lot. I mean, in terms of, do I hold myself back because I know I'm a mum?
Yeah.
I was going to say yes, but then I remembered that I went to Morzine last summer.
That's what I'm going to ask. And you get an injury, no? I saw that on the
first day. The first day. Oh my, yeah. So we went up and we were riding the bike park and stuff, and there are these jumps, and there was like the small line, well, the tiny line. There's the medium line and the big line, basically. So I rode the medium line a few times, and then we went back round, and I thought to myself, well, the big line doesn't look that big. Doesn't look that big at all. I'm just gonna hit that line. But unfortunately, what I didn't realise was I was in the wrong gear. So I dropped in. I'm trying to pedal up to this jump, and I'm like spinning out like mad, like crazy spinning. And I just think, oh well, it's a tabletop, like
a tabletop. I know.
Tabletop. I filled it in the middle rather than a double. I was like, it's a table. It doesn't matter. I'll just roll over it. Anyway,
just start on the flat.
Oh my god! I took off, and then I'm like,
wow.
It's a double. It's a gap jump. It's a massive jump with a gap in the middle. And if I'd have been in the right gear, I'd have been going fast enough and I would have cleared it. It's not like I can't jump that big, but I just didn't realise there's a gap. It's just stupid. And it's probably because I'd just driven all the way from England, and it's a big journey. It's pretty stressful. And and then I slept in a tent, and my daughter didn't sleep that well. And I think probably I just should have taken it easier on the first day. So do I adjust my behaviour now that I'm a mother? Not really.
It happens. It's the bike life. Okay, Juliet, we are almost in the end of the cranking. Usually I make a question to our guest that it's one question that I don't have made to you, and you think that it was good to make. And that question I'm going to pass to the to the next podcast. So if you tell us, I give you a little bit to time to think, okay?
The one question you didn't ask me.
Yes.
That you should have asked me.
Yeah.
Oh God, put me on the spot.
Meanwhile, I'm going to speak in Portuguese to tell the guys that, okay? Não se esqueçam, malta, todos os dias, todos os domingos às 8 da noite, Cranking Podcast, sai em todas as plataformas, já sabem, deixem, subscrevam e estejam atentos para as vossas notificações.
Well, I don't know whether you covered this already by asking me about my favourite riding, but one question I might have asked would be, if you could only keep one bike out of all your bikes, which would it be? Okay,
that's a good question. But now you must tell me which bike that, please.
Oh God. Oh, I can't.
You can't?
It depends where I lived. Like, do I live here? If I live here, then that would influence it. If I lived in Whistler, I'm going to keep my mountain bike, you know?
Yeah. Just before finish, just let me tell you that I'm very jealous about your marine bikes, okay?
Oh, yeah, they're so awesome. I'm so lucky, yeah.
And because when I start making mountain bike on 91 or 92, I remember saw in the magazines the bikes that came from across US, and it was like, oh, they are so beautiful. And I never owned one, so.
Yeah, I am lucky.
Okay, Juliet, I hope you have enjoyed these 30 minutes, more or less.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Many thanks for your participation. Daniel, the guy that you have speaking for, he's going to tell you when this came out, okay?
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And many thanks, and I hope I hope we can see wherever it be in Europe, or in Portugal or in England, okay? To ride and grab a coffee, okay?
Perfect. All
right. Okay, many thanks. Okay, bye. Bye.